All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this video with me, Adrian Nelson. Some of you are obviously here because you know that I do tarot readings and I upload daily readings and weekly readings and stuff like that. Um, but some of you have been quite interested. I've been sharing with you my fish journey, building it up, and actually through setting up my OSHO Zen tarot reading course, I actually took my students, through the process of actually setting up the tank, so they get to see it with nothing up to seeing it with fishes inside, which is actually really, really cute, I think. Obviously, if fish is not your thing, then you can just go out of this video. But fish is definitely my thing. Fish and tarot, those are my things, especially. You will see that my mobile phone is set up there. I'm just making a little video because I want to share with my beautiful audience on Instagram as well. You're more than welcome to follow me on Instagram. You're welcome to follow me on Facebook. There are links down in the description, but you can typically find me by hashtag ahngreatlife. So Alpha Hotel November Great Life, LIFE, um, because that's basically my brand. But the fishes are now more settled. In the tank, Variuatus Platys, you'll see that I've got a lid on it because um, Platys, not so much in general, they can, but sunset Variuatus Platys specifically, they can have some jumping tendencies. All fish will typically jump out of a tank if they don't like the water perimeters and stuff like that. But it seems like I get all the busy pets because I've got Bruno, the little Jack Russell, who's highly active, and then I have sunset Variuatus Platys, which are very, very active. And then very soon I'm also going to put some tetras in there, some neon tetras in the tank as well. I just wanted to give the Variatus Platys some time to just acclimatize to the tank first before, adding other fish and just see how that goes for them and that sort of thing. Because I mean, it is about life and it is about maintaining life, and that is a very big deal to me. So without any further ado, let me show you in feeding the fishes. Such a beautiful thing. All right, so that's a nice angle. You can see all the fishes, and with sunset Variatus Platys, because they are jumpers. Even if I do water changes, I will put the lid back on again. Obviously, remember any movement that we make causes vibration. So we want to be very gentle when we move stuff. Don't just go and bang them and things like that. And of course, there's always maintenance on a tank, keeping something clean. But then we feed them. And it's so gorgeous. They already know that it's food time. They know that it's food time. Come and have your breakfast. Breakfast time, guys. Oh, and I forgot, I normally put the filters off while I feed them. And so now they actually associate that with feeding. So whenever I put the filter off, they just assume that they're going to get food. And you can train your animals like that. You can train your fishes like that. Um, Obviously, it doesn't mean every single time when you do switch off the filter that you have to give them food. But it's a nice way for them to also expect food, for them to know that they have to come to the top. And also, I really, what's really important for, while you're looking at those, I'm just going to keep on speaking to you. So, what is also really important for Variuatus Platys, especially, and some other fish too. Remember, I said I'm getting some neon tetras, but I wanted to give them some time to acclimatize to the tank first. So there's more than enough food for them, and then I just let the filter pull up the rest. Got a little wave going on there. Because they are such active fishes, and because there's a lid on it, which typically diminishes, not to a great degree, but it does diminish the amount of oxygen going into the tank. I wanted to have very good filtration in here, so I've got very gentle filtration. Very strong filters, actually, stronger than I need. but I wanted to have proper as well as gentle filtration. These fishes also like it that when you keep sort of like a stable sort of pH level, so try to keep the water parameters sort of like the same. Now, obviously, when you put new fish in a tank and between your water changes, obviously your ammonia is going to spike a little. I mean, that's the point of a water change to take that ammonia out. But try not to get too nervous about it. You can obviously, if you feel that one water change isn't sufficient, you can obviously do two smaller water changes, during the week. But just be careful. Sometimes, I mean, obviously, the beneficial bacteria that we're looking for isn't in the water, it's on the hardscape, it's on the glass and the plants and in the filter medium and the sponges and whatever. But, sometimes people really go overboard with water changes and cleaning the tank. And my suggestion would usually be to not do everything all at once. So, like I've got two filters, so one day I will clean one filter, the other day I'll clean the next filter. And the way that you obviously would clean the filter is by taking a scoop of aquarium water out and then rinsing that filter out in that aquarium water and then putting it back. Because if you do it under tap water, then typically you've taken some of that chlorine in the water into the filter itself, which is the last thing that you want. But also the chlorine in the water kills the beneficial bacteria. So that sort of like really defies the point of everything that you want to achieve through the nitrogen cycle. And if you're not familiar with the nitrogen cycle, I'm going to link it for you, the video at the end, as well as the video previous to this when I let the fishes into the tank, because there I speak a little bit about keeping a filter. Because if you haven't kept a filter in a fish tank before, and especially if you're like me, that comes quite a lot from cold water fish, it can be a little bit of a stressful thing to do, so that is just why that's there in the previous video. You want to maybe check it out. Yeah, I think I told you everything that I wanted to tell. Oh yeah, so if you do get sunset Variuatus Platys, especially if you get new ones, they get a little funky when they go into a new tank and they feel a little bit out of sorts and out of place. So you want to make sure that you've got some sort of place in which they can be and in which place they can enjoy themselves. And I'm smiling at myself now because with the fishes at the back, this is almost like a podcast now. But they're not doing it right now because they just ate. But you'll always see when you put new ones in a tank, new fish in general in a tank, but like your Platys, sometimes your mollies, your tetras. I like all those sort of. Everybody typically has a sort of fish that they like, and I kind of really like the sort of tropical community sort of fish. I obviously love betas and all of those as well. But betas, they can be a little bit of a mission sometimes, and you really have to be sure that you keep that properly. Maybe sometime in future, I'll make a video about that. I do plan on getting myself a beautiful guppy tank. So I like all the very general sort of fish that one gets. Um, and that is also why I set this up this way, because they'll get into the tank and you'll see them like, chilling in between the plants, which really just makes them feel nice and safe, which is really, really great. And even maybe if there's some bullying, also something to bear in mind that you want to keep a good ratio between males and females, say maybe two females to one male. I like to keep three females to a male so they don't get harassed, so they don't get chased, so they get a break. And also the plants are really great for that because I don't know if you can see there at the back, it's a little fishy in between the plants. It's a little bit smaller than some of the others, so probably just taking a little bit of a break there. Maybe taking a chill break, a toilet poo-poo break. But these are very active fish and they'll swim all over the place and they're a real pleasure to keep and they're quite hardy. But I think what saying that a fish is hardy, because a lot of times, you get like sunset Variuatus Platys and, people say they're hardy. Just because they're hardy doesn't mean that you can skimp off the maintenance of the tank. You still want to gravel, vacuum your gravel. You still want to clean the pump. You still want to, keep things up to standard, watch the water parameters, feed them good food. Make sure that your equipment is working, that your filter's working, your heater's working, all of those sort of things. Um, and a lot of times people will say, and I mean, I had the same thing when I remember when I first had goldfish, take out everything and you get so excited because when you clean the tank, the fishes are swimming and you're like, they're so happy. But they should typically be that happy all the time. So you want to create a thriving environment for them. And that is why I'm making these videos Also, for me personally, I do call myself a conscious living practitioner. I am a tarot reader, a teacher, a coach, and tarot is all about life, and it's all about karma, and it's all about cause and effect. And we are always creating karma, and it's just what kind of karma you're creating. I'm speaking about that quite a bit in my Osho Zen tarot reading course. And tarot can be quite um, like a serious sort of subject. It does take some training, some learning. So I do have my online tarot reading course, the Rider Waite one, step by step. I've got my Osho Zen tarot reading course. But I also have a free oracle card reading course, if you just want to read oracle cards. So you can check that out down below in the description. But for me, keeping fish responsibly, keeping them ethically, keeping them happy, keeping them thriving, keeping them in a paradise, to me, that is just also respecting life, respecting the essence of life, which is really, really important to me.